Hi there, welcome back to Birdwatching with Limosa. We're still in the south central part of Portugal in the Alentejo region, a half-open, semi-arid region with all sorts of oak trees. And here in the shade of this oak tree, there's a group of sheep huddling for the shade. And as you can see, lots of cattle egrets on top of them. Cattle, even though it's sheep today. Cattle egrets are small egrets, small herons, um, much smaller than grey herons, and they have a compact build, completely white, but they have brown tufts on their breasts, on their crests, and a bit on their back, and an orange bill. They're quite common birds in southern Europe, southwestern Europe. They're gregarious, they breed in colonies, and here you can see one up close. In the breeding season, the cap becomes almost red, and the bill is even more vividly colored, also reddish. But this is the post-breeding season, and then they just have these brownish tufts. They move northwards, probably due to the climate change. And in the Netherlands, we also see them regularly, but they don't breed there. They're resident birds. They don't migrate to winter in the southern parts, so they stay in southwestern Europe and Eastern Europe during the winter. It's a cute little bird, and they're not at all shy. You can approach them quite easily. And here they are with cows. These birds walking on the arable field are very big birds. They're called great bustards. And great bustards are the heaviest flying birds on Earth. Not necessarily this species, but it is in Europe. It's even heavier than a mute swan. And they're big, bigger than geese, and they're the size of small swans. Even though this big, they're not at all conspicuous, as you can see, because they have a very camouflaged, subdued plumage with all sorts of ground and earth colors. Very beautiful. But we saw them flying, and then they're really impressive. They have a wingspan almost the size of storks. This is a group of females, which you can see and tell by their slender necks. The males are much more stocky, and in the breeding season, the plumage of the males is really spectacular, with all sorts of tufts of white and fluffy feathers, which they then display, and they turn themselves inside out almost with these feathers. But outside of the breeding season, they are much more commonly clad. They are omnivorous. They eat all sorts of plant material, which they dig up with their short, stocky bills. Plant roots, but all sorts of animals won't escape their attention either. At this moment, they're very rare. They do not fare very well in Europe because they need open swathes of land with no disturbance from human settlements. They need big open areas with grass, and these areas outside human presence have become very rare. Central Spain is still the heartland of the great bustards, with a couple of thousand breeding pairs. And here in Portugal, they're actually quite rare. They can then be found in Hungary and a small part in the eastern part of Germany. So we were lucky to find them. Well, that was it for this week. Bye bye.